Crusher X, Crusher X, Crusher X. Today I'm looking at Crusher X. Granular synthesis processing from Axone. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to mess around with some sounds so that you can get a sense of the possibilities. It will be interesting to hear interesting things. And thereafter, start to dig in a little bit to how it works. Because it's deep, deep, deep. Like you may be versed in soft synths or DSP processes, but Crusher X is definitely on another level. It's a little bit like having a whole other environment, universe inside of your DAW. It is multi-channel. It is polyphonic. It responds to MPE control. Yeah. So I'd like to guide you through some of the presets, and we'll try to figure out together how it works. There is an instrument version, and there is a the original processing version. There is a sidechain input allowed, and I am sticking to the essentials today via the DSP version, just the regular processor, not the instrument version. Although it does, the regular DSP version does also respond to MIDI input down here. And there we go. A little bit of input. A little bit of input. And beyond that, no sidechain today. Just regular processing of microphone in. So this is me talking. If you see this turn off, it's just so I can let you hear Crusher X on its own without me blabbing. And over here is the send from the microphone out, so we can control that, and also the return. So we can. It does get a bit loud and crazy at times. It can get loud and crazy in unexpected times. I am actually controlling with a separate leveling plugin over here. Thank you, DMG. Oh, that's interesting. Check one. Check one. Now for my preliminary fooling around, it does seem like this is the number of grains. So what granular synthesis is, and I'm going to paraphrase, and I'm still feeling it out, but you're basically dividing up the sounds into grains, treating the grains separately, like atomic units, and then recombining them. I think this is the flow of the signal coming in and out, and there's moments where you can play your way through the input. Down here we have all the outputs, so you can see this one is cranked up a bit. And you can also see that we're talking 12, so this is 12 channel. The IMAX film I'm on is 12 channel immersive, IMAX immersive, so the idea that we could actually expand out some of the sound design to 12 channel for a 12 channel recording and ultimately send to the mix stage as a 12 channel. It's pretty exciting. Typically I generate monos and stereos, maybe some quads, but the idea that you could totally pinpoint actual grains is pretty exciting. Check one, 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 check one. And I have some fundamental questions. So, yeah, it's totally crazy and ear cam and like nutty, but can it do subtle things? Can it do gentle, peaceful, tiny things? And then I've also had questions about the sonic fidelity, the actual grains, the quality of the grains. And then we also need to find out, what does the instrument version give us that the regular processor version doesn't. Those are my main concerns, as well as the surround possibilities. So Dub Alien. So this is this grid allows some control. You can see that there are macros can be assigned, MIDI OSC can be assigned, and then there's these, like, how fast does it return in the oscillation and the modulation of this XY is controlled by this lever, the speed of the light. And then I want not to say that that's a toilet, but the film I'm working on is actually about gravity waves, and this actually has a bit of a pinch of the bowl. Sure does feel like some of the gravity dynamics I have to design sound for. So this has felt like filter. Obviously, if you hover over things, filter cut, it will help guide you through offset of grain modulation, and this is the modulation depth. This beautiful display, which is quite gorgeous, does allow for interactive exploration. I get the sense that it could be quite helpful to actually figure out what's going on in some cases. You'll notice that it's a fairly low. Why don't I stop hurting your ears? So it looks like, are we at number of grains? Yeah, grain generators 2. So my idea was that if you use fewer, perhaps that's where subtlety lives, because once you pile up the grains. Okay, let's move ahead. Dub grains. Okay, so here comes your Borg attack. Here comes your Borg attack. Here comes your Borg attack. Check one. This is a drone. This is a drone. This is a drone. Ooh. Crunchy and crusty. I want to know what the crusty comes from. That's my main interest and investigation here is what is the crusty edge on the sound, and how can that be mitigated? Is there kind of an EQ softening? We are going to take a peek at the manual in a bit, which is going to be pretty. So it's daunting. It's very deep. Why don't we, just for a second, there's a signal flow diagram, which is really worth the price of admission. There it is. I mean, so where are we? So there's the plug, the side chain. Here's the MIDI coming in. That's the TET, right? From that film with Tom Cruise. Is that what that is? GCOs. spectral triggers, audio files, plugin parameters, host transport. Am I running? I don't. I'm running off, right? Like there's no transport running, so we're not even running to transport. But obviously everything can be automated in automation lanes as well. I mean, I guess that's worth looking at. Crusher X instrument. Oh, we are using the instrument version. Okay. So not as many as you might think. But all the macros are here, so whatever you're doing can be built into those. I'm surprised a little bit that I don't see all of the individual outputs. Do you see them the way that I don't see them? Does the macro 12 allow for independent output control? Birth.mod, offsets, wave shapes. So if you want to get excited with that, you can. Oh. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Okay, so we're in a tuning of a sort that allows for some notes and not others. Ooh. Some Laurie Anderson happening in there. Okay, so drones are fun. More drones. I don't think this is based on my input, is it? Check. Oh, I am in there. I am in there. I am in there. I am in there. Ooh. I am in there. Ooh. I am in there. Check, 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 check. Okay. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Check. Flame drone. Flame drone. Flame drone. I should say the thing about, well, let's meet the guy, shall we? We'll meet the guy. Here's the guy. So, I don't know, Jörg Stelkens, this guy, is Crusher X, I believe. He's got his credentials. He's a genius. And I think Axone, I think that's his company. I don't know how many other people there are, but he definitely drives this Crusher X project. Wonderful dude. And he did provide the version 12 for the exploration today. It's no kind of paid promotion or anything, but kindly did give access for this. So the source point of these notes is completely unknown to me. This is side input. I guess that's side chain. Is that what that is? Okay, root side chain to main input. Okay, check one. The things get crazy when you get here. Splice, groove, displace, insane, detune, crush, collapse, conflate, shunt. Insane usually is fun, so you know you're starting out fairly straightforward, and then as you check, fairly straightforward, but then as you get in, it gets really wild. Again, I'm a guy that's trying to take tiny little dots of VFX and splay them out and move them through space. So this is a lot of fun, but it's like versus what I need right now. So I'm looking to see how we can control and how we can apply subtlety, like very subtle. So yeah, I mean, you can keep playing it, but sooner or later you have to ask yourself what, like, okay, so detune. Grain modulation. So where? And the spirals are macro parameters. DCO and player editor. There's samples and with it, I believe. And so then we get into heavy matrixing, sweep modulator, wave shape modulator. Check. All right, let's dive into the manual. Enough fun. I'm just going to leave us on something pleasant to listen to. If we can find something a little bit more tenable over the long term, something a little more musical, bells all around. Is that nice? Can you handle that? Check one.
Is that nice? Is that nice? Check one.
That's 5 grains. Here's one. Check one. Check one.
That's 5 grains. Here's one. Check one. Check one.
So I guess for me personally, when I get into this kind of a preset system, I want to see.
I get in. For me personally,
When I get in, I see all the voice stuff is here.
I want to see.
But I just want to be like,
is here.
maybe just a subtle folder. Is there a subtle?
Maybe just a subtle.
Check. So that presets are a little bit more controlled in terms of what's on offer. What's on offer? We're gonna head back to the manual. Shimmer. What's shimmer? All right. So I'm more towards a granular reverb. Okay. Let's just pretend it's raining outside. The nuclear apocalypse. This is good for today because there's a yellow cast to the daylight. There's lots of forest fires in Canada right now, the middle of summer. And it's worrying that there's so much smoke in the sky that everything looks post-apocalyptic. Sort of looks the way this sounds. So let's let it do its thing, and we're gonna let us move together to the manual. So we've talked about Yerg, we've talked about Axone, we've talked about granular synthesis a little bit. This is important. I guess I should look at that. Where is it? Pro Tools. So in here somewhere. These are all of the surround formats. As you can see, 12-channel IMAX Immersive is not here, but lots of other ones are. This is where we're at with stereo. And yeah. If I were to switch to 5.1, this session actually does include some 5.1 components. I do use 5.1 SMPTE format, Steinberg format, but there's your rears. There's the front, and then you can spatialize your, I guess you'll be hearing this. In the headphones I've got, we're over to the right. It's being literal with the channel numbers. So that's where that all is. LFE, you can even control the LFE. And oh, I'd just love to know. Okay, all right. So I think we have 19 grains, and I think what's happening there is that we're at some kind of lower generation frequency situation, so that as the processor task is greater when we push up the offset. That actually sounds nicer. Check, check, check. So, would you call this grain clouds? 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 I guess we should go back to stereo. Okay. All right. So the manual is deep and crazy. It's really crazy and deep. Here's even the table of contents is crazy. Randomizing grain modulations, drag and drop files, the granulizer, the mixer, grain modulations, bit crush grain. Oh, this birth business, birth grain modulation. Spline and step editors, Glitcher X mode. Total control with MIDI, MPE, and scales. Sound packs. Some of you will want to go straight to sound packs probably. I know I'm curious about it. So I guess you have crushed guitars. Starting point for guitarists. Human voices can be extremely modified and granulized. Then we have the wind gong. Okay. And going down the grain, I guess this is more like a electronic dance music type organization. You've got your trance, techno, MPE control. Designed for DJs. Okay, so here's your key features. Is there anything we haven't talked about? The granular effects standard. I do believe it. I certainly remember granular synthesis in the very early 90s, university days, and this is miles beyond what I remember. So my only question was, like, we are running, this session is 48K 24-bit, and my question was, is it possible somehow to, like if we were at 9624, could we get that mid-range edge to come off? But I suspect it's just from, it's a little bit like FM synth programming, where if you just stick with it and you keep tweaking the inputs and outputs, basically gain staging, that I suspect that you could get it to where you want. And then of course some clever EQ control. Horror. 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 So I walked into a room. The room was empty. The room was without feeling. I heard nothing. I didn't know where you went. I wasn't sure where you were. I tried to find you. I couldn't find you. I couldn't find you. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't find you. We walked into the wind. 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 Never to be seen again. 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 Okay, we're back. So we did crash. I'm going to highly recommend that as you're working, you keep a recorder track going. It may even be that this patch is too much for my setup in the moment, and it's not the computer's busting, but I'm on very low latency settings, so it might be a little bit grumpy about how much it has to work with. Again, we're not putting that on Axone. We're putting that on my setup, I think. But definitely you're going to get happy accidents. So as you work through, you're going to want to record. You're going to want to record. Check one. Check one, check one. Check one, check one, check one. Check one. Vowel. If we go to voice, we haven't done a straight up. There was some kind of Darth Vader in here, wasn't there? Darth voice. Check one. Your lack of faith is, disturbing me so greatly. Check one. Han Solo's your father. What? Han Solo's your father. Luke is your granddaughter. Check one. Okay, so I'm going to put an end to this primer. A little bit, I've laid out what it can do, and a little bit not. There's these amazing, you can roll the dice up here. There's randomized, there's a lot of points of dice rolling and randomness. There's a lot of, if you like to play and tweak, this is absolutely your thing. Again, my questions, well, let's review the questions. Here's the questions. Okay. Can it sound subtle? I think it can. But it's really about starting with a very, very simplified default. You're going to want to start with a template that's very simple and build from that with very subtle motions outwards, because it gets crazy fast. Sonic fidelity, I'm convinced that with enough tweaking, the particular types of crust and cloud, you can hear it a bit in this one, the crusty, the cloudy, the mid-range, I think that you can work around that. And I think that, I suspect that the fewer the grains, the more you could go at that. And then, of course, with EQ. And we've been using the instrument version. I don't know if that's why the MIDI input has been so sweet, but that's it. That's Crusher X. And again, thank you to Jörg and Axone for letting me play around with this today. And I hope you have a lot of fun with it. This is great for sound design, installation work, electroacoustic music composing for sure, and for electronic dance music as well. People operating in ambient. There's lots of good stuff. Generating textures for sampling, treatments. Even mixers may like it for strange reverbs, alternatives to IR, impulse response, convolution reverbs. Convolution reverb, is that actually a granular process? It may even be it. Check, 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 check. Thanks.